I'm John Rodgers from Cuyahoga Falls, and today we're going to have a look at Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. This makes up, well, not Morocco, but it makes up the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal. Spain is roughly the size of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and a half of West Virginia, so it's pretty good size. Now you're looking at a relief map of what we're going to look at today, the lower part being Morocco. The land border of Spain is France, the Pyrenees, the mountains, 270 miles of them. The water borders are the Bay of Biscay, the Atlantic Ocean, and the Mediterranean Sea. I'm taking you in now to show you a map, and we are going to land at Madrid here, and then we'll go out this way to the Valley of the Fallen, and we'll go up to one of the cities here and over and cross into Portugal. This line up here indicates Portugal, all the way out to Lisbon, and we'll come back in, we'll be at Seville, we'll come down to Algeciras and move over into Morocco. I'll have another map for you there, a little one. And then when we come back from Morocco, we'll come up this way to Malaga, and then Granada, and then back up to Madrid that way. Some of the views, these are in Madrid now, which is the capital and the largest city at 3 million population. The country of Spain is 99% Roman Catholic. The government is parliamentary monarchy with Juan Carlos I, king since 1975. And incidentally, he was over here not too long ago going down into Mississippi to see a real good Spanish exhibit down there where a lot of things had been gathered together. And Spain does have a prime minister. I'm showing you a few things as we make our way down to the Palace of Madrid. And we'll see it, there it comes up now. That's a magnificent palace. Some of the things in that exhibit in Mississippi were from this palace. And we were fortunate to go down there. We got there about 3 weeks after Juan Carlos was there, but we were able to see it. You're not allowed to photograph inside, so these 3 pictures are from postcards. I can't remember whether we bought the portfolio on the place or not, but you're in the throne room right now, and this one is just labeled as a chamber. Magnificent chandelier, really, really something to see. And this is the Gasparina anteroom. Look at the drapes, and notice the ceiling also in these things. And then looking at the gardens outside with their fountains on the grounds and the statuary and so forth is really something. Quite a place. And sparkling clear weather when we were there. And it's been a while since we were there, but you don't forget stuff like this, especially when you have the pictures to go with it. Look at that one, the palace and statuary and a fountain there, just really something. And then one more fountain, and a garden with an urn in it. Very well done and neat and trim, as neat as anything you'll find over in Britain. Really a sight to behold. And this is the spires of a cathedral, and I have it listed under reconstruction, but it should be done by now. It should be all finished. And then over towards the mountains, a view from the palace. And I'll show you, they have a string of mountains that I'll show you towards the end when we're in Granada. It's actually called the Sierra Nevada, just like our western mountains. This is the Plaza Mayor. a lot of statuary and a lot of people here. On Spain, wheat is the chief crop, but there's also 5 million acres in olive trees, and 4 million in vineyards. We're still at that plaza, and we're still in Madrid, but I just wanted to be sure I covered these things before we left. And 1/3 of the world's cork comes from the cork oaks in Spain. A lot will be in Portugal and some from Morocco. And I like lion statues, you may know by now, so I always photograph them. Beautiful fountain. And look how sparkling clear the buildings are in Madrid on this day. Sight to behold. I just have this one labeled in my notes as stature and pond and buildings. I guess that does cover it. And downtown street here. Fair amount of traffic in Madrid. Doesn't show up in this picture, but there's quite a bit. Now this fountain is down by the Prado. That's the great art museum. Unfortunately, you won't see too much of it because you're not allowed to photograph inside there. But this is the Prado, their top museum, top art museum in all of Spain, really. And now we'll go over to the Escorial Monastery, and this is a drawing of it. And wait till you get inside. This is quite a sight to see. The setting's good too with that mountain behind it. This is the big courtyard here. And then we'll be moving in a little bit. Here are some of the spires. A little brighter in there because I'm turned around to another direction. And then we'll move inside and you'll see this domed ceiling looking up. Notice the paintings that are alongside of the dome. And then you'll see the paintings. Now I can't really tell. I would like to say this was a painting or a tapestry, but I got to use the word or because I'm not sure which it is. There are several like that. And this is Neptune. I'm pretty sure this is a painting. Beautiful stuff. And this one, again, I think it's a painting, but I'm not sure. Painting or tapestry. And here's one more, and this one is of a battle. And I think that's tapestry. And then I have two outside of the gardens. They're laid out nicely, a little dark here, but the layout is really good. You can see it better in this, how wonderfully kept they are. And then we have to go into the burial chamber. And those are burial vaults here, caskets in other words, down all the way down in the burial chamber. Okay, then we headed out of Madrid out to the west and stopped first at the National Monument of the Valley of the Fallen. Note that cross because we're going to be coming back into it, and notice its alignment with here, and we'll go all the way back in there. The thing about the whole area, the National Monument, is to give eternal repose to the heroes and those who gave their lives for Spain. And here is a closer one of the Basilica, of the large cross over the Basilica. And that cross is 492 feet high. It's a memorial to victims of the Spanish Civil War. It's vertical to the main altar of the crypt down below. And this is as we go in. Now, you're you can't really take pictures down below. And just, I wanted to give you one note, because I used the term Spanish Civil War. That was in 1936 to 39, and Francisco Franco was dictator during that time. And we're still at the Valley of the Fallen looking at a view to the mountains. As a matter of fact, two views to the mountains, because it's quite beautiful here. And then I found this huge rock at one end of that area. And since it got those nice little clouds in there, I thought it was worthwhile. Incidentally, if you're a tree person, this is a true cedar. I think that's deodara, but I'm not sure. That's just thrown in for extra. Now we're moving, and this scene is from the bus, as we're still moving west over towards Portugal. And this church is also from the bus. And you see a few power lines in there, utility lines, but I was able to do it without the reflections showing up. And then we got over to the city of Avila, and this is a walled city. You can see the wall around here, and that was a temple, and there you can see the city behind the wall. We did not really stop at Avila, but it really is, the wall situation there is really nice. The first city, and when I was showing you that first map, I couldn't remember. Salamanca, that's the one, that's the first big city out of Madrid that we got to. And you are seeing a view of it as we approach it, this cathedral, but you're seeing it from the bus. And so there is some reflections there. Couldn't avoid them. And now we're on the ground as we get into Salamanca. And this is a park with a beautiful fountain. And they have a Plaza Mayor also. That's the same name used on the one in Madrid. And I have two shots of that. It's a very impressive thing. And on this particular day, there are a lot of people out. Then they have an old cathedral there, this one. And it's probably pretty old. I don't have a date for it, but they call this the newer cathedral. And then before we move on over into Portugal, here is all the way in the background. Now, not these things on either side. All the way back in there is an old Roman bridge. And with that, we end the first part of Spain. We'll get back to it when we come back from Morocco, and we're going into Portugal. Portugal is slightly smaller than Indiana. It has a population of 10 million, and it borders Spain and the Atlantic Ocean. Parliamentary democracy. 1/2 of the world's supply of cork comes from Portugal. And yes, those are storks, and they have put their nests on top of a chimney here in Portugal. Now, the first town, well, we don't really stop in it, but Coimbra, and we are on our way, a couple of scenes on it, on the way to it. I was on the right side of the bus at this point, I guess. I didn't get reflections in my, my pictures. And here's an interesting scene here. Now, you will see some more of it, and you've already seen some, but down in the lower part of the picture, you can see a lot of houses with that orange tile roof. Seems to be attractive to Portugal. We're still on our way now. There's a beautiful stream, and as we get to the little town, we're just going through it, but there's a statue in the middle of it. A little park, a street, looks like the place to wait for buses and so forth over there. And then we make our way on down towards Lisbon, but we make one major stop at the Shrine of Fatima. This is one of the religious shrines where a miracle took place. And can you picture that whole square just covered with people on the special days? That's the square where they would assemble. And here is the cathedral at Fatima. And I moved in a little closer on it. And they let us take a picture inside. That's inside the cathedral, the Shrine of Fatima. And then when I went out, I took this picture from the steps of the cathedral, and on those special days I mentioned, all of this would be covered with people. And we're on our way again, 2 more scenes on the way from the bus on the way down to Lisbon. Hillside towns and so forth as we make our way down. Lisbon has a population of 681,000. We're still on, no, I guess we've gotten off the bus now. This is a view from an old Moorish castle that we stopped, and this is from the castle street in the ruins that are called St. George ruins. Doesn't look too ruined to me, but that's what it's called. And then a couple of views of Lisbon. I take views from hotels, and I go up and find how to get to the roof of the hotel and so forth. So these could be from places like that. You can't see them so good, but some of those roofs down there are the orange ones. And here you can see them. They just seem to love that color. And then here's a view from up at that old Moorish castle. And a street scene right by the castle. Then we go to a square that is fairly well known around the world. I heard it before I ever got there. And this is Black Horse Square. We're right by the Tigris River. Now, here we had loaded on the bus when I got my best picture, but I also got my most reflection. And here is that magnificent bridge over the Tigris River in Lisbon. We're still in Lisbon now, and this is a statue of Pombal, who rebuilt Lisbon when it was destroyed, I think by earthquakes, if I'm not mistaken. And you may have seen pictures of this somewhere along the line. This is an explorer's monument. It's also called a discoverer's monument, because a lot of that, remember Columbus? This is where he sailed from, the coastline of Portugal. And so that's why this is down there. And then I got it listed as wavy pavement, and that's a monastery in the background. And then some more of the wavy pavement to show you the coastline. And there's a lighthouse back there, and as a matter of fact, that is our bus there in the picture. And then in this very area is the Belem Tower, and you can see some of the spires of the Belem Tower there. Here's some more of the spires. And I don't really know how to pronounce this one, but we're into a monastery now. Geronima, I think, is maybe close to the way you pronounce it. And I was intrigued with this group of young people that were listening to their tour person. And then we have this vaulted passageway. Look at that ceiling on there. And then we're going inside the courtyard. And this is the entrance to the monastery proper. Beautiful fountains. That's the river in between us. And yeah, there are quite a few street vendors. As a matter of fact, we bought a whole bunch of strawberries and ate them in our room that night from one of these street vendors. They were absolutely delicious, really good stuff. We've gone over now just outside of Lisbon, but that's where the Grand Palace is, and we're inside the gold room of that palace. A table that I found interesting. And I just have this one labeled as a room. I'm not sure what its use is. This one is a display room for costumes and so forth. What it was used as when it was a palace, when it was considered a palace. And then a couple of the gardens. I always have to get the gardens in. Quite a little place there. And then we're going to another old castle, and this one is just outside of Lisbon, and it's at Sintra. And this is the view from the front of the castle. And all I have this one labeled as is a strange chimney. Might be used for firing clay and that type of thing. And this is one of the rooms inside. You could take pictures, but not flash, and the lighting was not all that great. And we move over to Estoril now, and the boat's in the harbor there at Cascais. And then we're into Estoril proper. And here is the castle. And that's a casino down there. The gardens lead up to the casino. Some of the nicer flowers. The beach could hold a lot more people. And I don't often photograph people too much, but I got a chance this. As a matter of fact, I think I gave this little girl something to take her picture. And here are the vendors, and they're not quite as forceful as the ones down in Morocco, but they really want to sell you something. Now we're leaving Lisbon, and here are some of the signs. They were having some social unrest over there at that time, and you can see the sickle there and a couple of other things. But I thought I'd show you what it looked like. And this is a fortress and one aqueduct. These aqueducts go back in history, way back, carrying water into the places that didn't have it. And now we're going to leave Portugal, and we don't come back to Portugal, but we are back in Spain now, and we're making our way down towards the crossing to Morocco. But we have to go be in Seville for a while. And back in there beyond the bus is Carmen's Tobacco Factory from the Opera Carmen. This is part of the setting. And that was a tobacco factory where Carmen worked. And this is, I just labeled the White Doves. Really